Welcome to Dusseldorf from the Marex stand. We've brought you several Marexes over the years. The one I'm showing you today is the one behind me, which is the 390. Very popular, some say it's the optimum size, who knows. But we're going to take you for the full tour, so we'll go that in a second. But before we do that, I just thought it would be interesting to run down the side of the boat because there's some really nice detailing. There is acres of wood, we'll see in a minute when we get to that transom. But just look at this. Isn't that a beautiful little detail? Just an indent there, and they've run that teak through that. What you also see are these huge hull windows, which again are not actually all windows, if you can see, but the effect of it is quite striking. And that goes right the way forward into that forward master cabin. The anchor, which you can't see from the bow, is up there, but it is beautiful. Let's go and have a look. Right, here we are at the stern of this beautiful Marex 390, and what strikes you immediately is the quantity of wood here, the quantity of teak. It's everywhere. And a really nice feature that is immediately obvious is this little table that you can drop into the platform there to sit in the morning and have your morning tea, coffee, or even in the evening and enjoy drinks overlooking the water. In here we've got storage, we've got a bathing ladder there, very nicely arranged with all that seating, and also steps up to the side deck, so you don't have to clamber over the seats in the cockpit to do that. You take a little walk around these side decks and you really feel very safe because you've got a handrail up here, and then you've obviously got the side rails as well. Just go down the side. You've got a slight step here. If I just lift that, you can see under there we've got a well and the filler for the water. Go forward onto this foredeck again. Liberal use of teak, which is really nice. And it's all very new, obviously, and clean and dark, but really is nicely finished. Just look back here, we've got this fabulous sun pad on here. This section will pull out to give access to a hatch, which goes down to the cabin below, and we can see that in a minute. But interestingly here, let's just have a look at that hardtop, because we get a good opportunity to see it here, and it really does bring the outside in that saloon there. So the anchor is actually beneath us there, can't quite see it from here, but if I can get down here and lift this locker, there we go, you can see down there is the anchor chain and the windlass, and this is actually a step. So Scandinavians like to moor bow to onto rocks or little islands, so we have this gate here, and this ladder actually flops on those hinges there, goes forward and gives you a step down onto the ground. Just close that up. Just come down the other side. Very nice quality wipers there, and again we can see this roof here, so this section slides back, and here you can see we've got a range of solar panels just to make the most of the sun. That hatch lifts up there and we've got fuel under there. Now, one thing about Marex is the simplicity of their enclosures, and here you can see that's the cover that goes right the way around this cockpit and encloses it really nicely and makes it effectively another room. Right, just before we jump into the cockpit, just quickly going to show you these lockers. That one's full of warps and fenders. This one incredibly deep. There's another one there, and we've actually got ones down the side as well, albeit fairly small. But let's go into the cockpit and we can see what a lovely, sumptuous place it is to sit and relax. Seating around this table, which does extend, you can see it lifts out there for 6, I guess, but plenty more on this side, and this table would actually extend over to here. Again, this lovely wood carries through. We've got a great gate that really encloses it. Interesting, there's a window down there so you can see that. But this whole cockpit is either totally open like this, or you can close the roof up and close it with the canopies, and it really becomes a very comfortable room. So let's go inside, and you can see here this window will rise right up here, but it makes it incredibly open if you're not doing that. So let's look into the saloon. We've got a wonderful dining table here, which again extends. You've got stools which flop out here, so you can seat an awful lot of people around that. On this side, we've got a galley hob here, and here we've got our fridge and freezer drawers, sink over here, and the oven is actually down here under the helm seat. But it's a beautifully finished place, totally open to the forward bit, lots and lots of storage, great view out for the cook, just very nicely finished, and glass everywhere. So if you are in this, you don't feel like you're inside too much, especially with that open roof. If we look at the helm, got an access door here, so the helm can nip out quickly, help with crewing duties. Lovely, lovely helm seat there. And then here we've got the helm itself. So steering there, we've got controls there for those engines. This has twin 440s, which gives it 35 knots. Here we've got all our switch gear. Got a cup holder in there. Got 2 big Garmin screens down there and a nice footrest there. But you can see here this is raised, so in fact if you want to, you can stand up here and stick your head out of the top of the roof and get that great view. So it really is a great place to be driving from. Fabulous view. Just looking forward, we've got acres in front of it, but it's covered in this, so it's not going to reflect back at you. Over here we've got another surface which is going to be useful, but it is very, very nicely finished. Let's go down and dive into the second cabin to start with. So here we've got a large, and I mean large, it's huge, double berth which goes back under the cockpit, so it is restricted headroom there. It's slightly better here. You've got a sofa here which is really nice and no problem with headroom there. You've got hull windows either side, but the lighting is fabulous down here. It feels really chic and really nice. Over here we have a single seat, got some drawers there, and look at the detail to the lighting there, it's fabulous. Another hull window there. We've got storage up there, got a big mirror behind that door, and another big mirror here. Love the steps as well. So if I just dive into the heads here, you get an idea again of the quality. Beautifully finished. We've got a mirrored cupboard there, lovely wood panelling there, and here a walk-in shower. Again, we've got that lovely wood on the floor, seat there, and a proper shower door there. So it is very, very nicely finished. Okay, let's go into the master cabin. But before we do that, look at these doors. Glass middle, so you get a little bit of light coming through. Obviously it's frosted, so you can't see through it. But look at this. Again, we've got superb lighting. It just feels really chic and funky in here. Lots and lots of mirrors. I can't escape it. So here we've got a very deep cupboard. Over here again, behind this mirror, big hanging cupboard, wardrobe I should say. Plenty of storage on the side there. Lovely big berth, mirror above it, reading lights, and that's the hatch through to the sunbed that we saw before. Lovely big hull window there again. And you've got steps up to the bed there, which makes access really easy. So there it is, the Marex 390, a very high quality boat. Love the wood, love the lighting and the space and the layout. Price of this boat with these two 440s is 781,000, that is plus tax. You can get that price down quite dramatically by going for, well, if you want you can have a single engine option, but obviously you're not getting the most out of the boat then, so I don't think many people will. The boat is just superb, it's very warm and cosy, and we just love it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please don't forget to subscribe, it really helps us, it costs you nothing. Thanks very much for watching, see you on the next one.